Hey friends, John, your carnivore teacher here. Let's talk about something that most people have never even heard of, yet it controls almost every bite of processed food they put in their mouths. It's called the Bliss Point. The Bliss Point is the exact combination of sugar, fat, and salt, carefully calculated by food scientists, that lights up the pleasure centers in your brain just like a drug. It's that perfect ratio where your taste buds say yes before your brain ever has the chance to say stop. This concept didn't appear by accident. It was created intentionally through millions of dollars in research and decades of data collection to make food as irresistible as possible. The term Bliss Point was coined by Howard Moskowitz, a food scientist and market researcher who worked with major corporations like PepsiCo, Campbell's Soup, and General Foods. In the 1970s and 80s, Moskowitz pioneered the study of sensory optimization, finding that perfect point of pleasure where the brain gets maximum satisfaction with each bite or sip, but without ever feeling full or satisfied. Let that sink in. These foods are actually engineered not to nourish you, but to keep you coming back for more. It's all about profit, obviously. Here's how it works. When you eat something sweet, your brain releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter of reward. A little sugar, a little fat, a little salt, and suddenly your brain says, yes, that is absolutely amazing. Do it again. But when food scientists precisely dial in that combination, it hits your dopamine receptors harder than anything found in nature. The result? You crave it again and again and again. You know what that is, right? It's called addiction. This is why you can eat an entire bag of chips or cookies and still want more. It's not because you're weak, it's because it's designed that way. Take soda, for example. Pepsi, Coca-Cola spent years testing thousands of sweetness combinations until they found that single point, usually around 10 to 12% sugar, that creates the strongest pleasure response without tasting syrupy or heavy. That's the Bliss Point. It's also why processed foods rarely taste so salty, too sweet, or too fatty. They're perfectly balanced to stay right in that zone of just one more bite, and that zone is addictive by design. This Bliss Point manipulation doesn't just affect your brain chemistry, it reprograms your hunger hormones too. Leptin, which tells your body you're full, gets suppressed. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, stays elevated, so you never feel satisfied and the cycle continues. This is the foundation of the modern obesity epidemic. We've been taught that overeating is about willpower, but in truth, it's neurological manipulation. The food industry found the formula to override your natural satiety signals, and they've built an empire on it. Compare that to real food now. A ribeye steak, a couple of eggs, some butter. Those foods naturally regulate your appetite because they're nutrient dense and they don't play games with your dopamine receptors. You eat until your body says enough and you stop. That's nature's Bliss Point, the real one, built into us through millions of years of evolution. But the industrial food complex hijacked that system. They built synthetic bliss points that trick your biology and train your brain to crave hyperpalatable foods with zero nutrition, just dopamine hits. When you step away from processed foods and return to real animal-based nutrition, those cravings fade. Your dopamine receptors start to reset, and suddenly your brain feels calm again. Food becomes fuel, not a fix. That's the moment when people say, I finally feel free, because the Bliss Point no longer has power over them. So next time you walk down the supermarket aisle, remember every bright box, every crunch, every flavor combo you see has been tested hundreds of times in labs to find your Bliss Point. They're not feeding you. They're programming you. But the good news is you can break free from it simply by eating real food. I wrote this book about just this topic. Check it out. In the show notes, you can buy it on Amazon. You can get the Audible. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Share this with somebody who never heard of the Bliss Point. It's really cool information. Knowledge is power. Pass it on, and it's free. Pass the knowledge that's free on to others. That's what I'm doing on this channel. And check out my video tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.